Hi guys, I said I'd make this video for um, Todd and Chris about a little bit about VAs and the introduction to have one. I've hired VAs in the past and have had some really great experiences with them. So I thought I'd be able to share of what I learned in the process I went through. This is only to be an introduction. I'm sure this will encourage a lot more questions, but it's a given outline of at least what's involved. So let's get started. So stage one is finding suspects and finding possible workers, and then qualifying them at a later date. And the particular area I'm talking about is finding people from the Philippines. And the reason for the Philippines specifically is they are very hard working people. They are very honest people, and they also they hold US and particularly US companies in high esteem. They like working for them. It's good for the culture. The culture holds the US, particularly as a high level. I also, when I do the hiring, I will generally hire full time, and my reason for that is I don't necessarily task by hours of hours completed. I would rather work on what I expect them to get done. Um, so on top of that, and what to expect is that people from the Philippines are highly qualified. They have college level qualifications. They're very encouraged to go through college study. However, it's not at the same sort of level as you would expect a college grad from uh, a normal Western country. The skills are probably not as taught. They're probably more copied more than anything else. So just trying to expect expectations. If you look at a college qualification, and they'll all have college qualifications, they won't be the same. And while I'm at this, the same thing also covers if you're looking for someone in graphic skills. Sometimes they'll say they have graphic qualifications and the output wouldn't be the same as what you expect. Now, understanding the culture, as I said, they're very hard working. It's a very religious country, so when they're working for you full time, they will have a lot of religious holidays in the Catholic religion, so bear that in mind. Um, and yeah, that's just something to keep in mind, as that's the way the culture of the country is. The site that I'm going to bring up in a minute is called onlinejobs.ph, and it's the fastest, quickest way of finding it. Just let me flick over to a web browser. So online jobs PH is specifically for on finding Filipinos and specifically to work online. Let's just flick through. I'll give you an idea of what's here. Let's just jump into this one. It's always slow when you're trying to do a video, isn't it? So you'll find there is a lot of experience here. Also, with one thing to keep in mind, these might be asking for these are monthly full-time wages, so they've put into US dollars here. Use these as a guide. I would generally start off lower. I would rather employ someone at more than $250 a month and then increase their monthly quicker. As soon as they've proven themselves, you then say, okay, great, you've got a pay rise, and that keeps them on board. Yeah, there's a lot of people in here, and I'll go through a bit more in the process of how I qualify them down in a minute. Let's jump back on the other screen. You will need a paid account. A paid account at the moment, as I look at this pricing. Yes, you can have a free account and you can post a job. You can't actually contact workers, but as the pro monthly here at $49 a month, you will have the ability to contact people, which is what you need to do. You need to be proactive. A lot of people will put a lot of jobs will be up there and they'll be already gone and the CV is still sitting there. So some cases you want to be proactive and press out. Just jump down. Okay. So finding suspects. So this is a stage where you're finding the people who are looking for employment. So I showed you where to go and create a template for your first contact. The couple of tools I use is this one here, TypePilot. It's a very old program. It's been around a long time. It allows you to create a little shortcut. So say for example EM2, and that automatically puts your email address in there, or whatever. You can format any text you want into a paragraph, and that way you can have a shortcut key which will allow you to paste it straight in. Now I've got Gmail here as well, and you want to create a filter for responses so that when the CVs come in, they automatically go into another folder. And the reason why is you're going to get a lot of responses very quickly. In any job market, if you're involved with employing anybody, you get a massive amount of responses, and you need to filter them quickly into another folder, just for organization process, basically. Okay, let's on to the next one. So here's the type of job when you're approaching somebody. So are you still looking for a job? Replace the name from the ad that you found. You found your information. I have a full-time job doing whatever you want to do. Let me know you're interested, and if you're contacting, if you have a domain or you have a URL up of your company, then insert that in there. You want to create a bit more trust that you are a real person, you are looking for a proper job. You're only looking for people to reply at this point. You don't need to go too far into detail. This next part here, when you do put a job up, so here's an outline that I've used, and I'll go through some of the important points here. So this first paragraph here, I'm explaining that I am a valid company, what we're doing, the type of areas we're doing. Then we go into the actual skills, and in this case it was around SEO, what this person does and doesn't do. English is a big factor here. They do speak, the good thing about the Philippines is they do speak very good English. Their written English is not always that great, so I wouldn't necessarily use them for a first level communication with your customers. You may be able to do that in the future, but probably not to start with. References, that's going to be a key point as companies I've worked for before. Self-motivated, how they think, how they approach the answers, because they are going to be working them all by themselves for you. They're looking long-term, and you want someone mature. So it's saying here, question is you want someone references with the companies, US companies particularly, that they've worked in the past. So you're looking to cut out people that haven't done this role before, and just leverage them down and email us at the bottom. So let's, for example, responses. You expect at least 70 responses within 24 hours. And this sort of completes your first stage. You're finding people, you're reaching out to people that you see might be possible. And you can always repeat the process at a later date, reason for having a template to do it later on. So next stage is get some validation of most skills that people have said that they've worked for, and involves contacting the references and providing in the US, and finding out what they did for their employment. So you still haven't gone back to them yet and said you are interested, you contacted the employers first. And here's a bit of a format here of what I've used it for. So email the person reply, name of the person replying. So they've said that they've worked for you. What did they do for how long? What were the skills like? So you're defining the level they were at. What the reporting communication, because that's going to be key. A little about their business, and referencing back to the jobs that they've actually applied for. So let's say, for example, you've got a group of possibly maybe even up to 10 people that may or may not, from your 70, you'll cut down quite a few. The first important thing here is to tell, you'll get down to probably five people out of your 70. That's sort of the numbers that work, that actually you've got answers back and references. Firstly, tell them that they're hired. So you might tell 5 people that they're hired. I'll explain that in a minute. And set the first task. In a lot of cases, 3 out of the 5 that you ask won't get done in a reasonable time, or you won't hear back from them. That's just the process, as they've gone off and done something else. If they do complete the task, in the case that you may have more than one person doing a different task, they must each complete the task that you want them to do. And this could be as simple as depending on what you want to do, go and create a WordPress site on a free WordPress site. Where what we're looking for is someone here that actually does what they're saying that they're going to do, and actually is reliable to get the work done. So that's the main factor. They are, and we're looking for honesty and morality more than anything else, and that they'll do what they say they're going to do. It's important really here that you don't tell them to test for a job. They'll think they won't get paid and they won't do the work. And also check if they can be paid by PayPal. Most can. Most have made those arrangements already, but at least that you need to be sure. And in the case that you get more people than people doing the work than you actually asked to get done, say for example you want to employ one person, you have 3 that have done them, just basically pay the other 2 for the work they've done and tell them that the job has been filled by someone else. That's fair. They're still getting paid for the job. They still have the option of go off and doing something else. That's a way to hedge your bets as well. And so into the reporting side, the best way to do is visual for the teaching side. So the best way is visual. I've communicated backwards and forwards in email. Too many misunderstandings. And the software I use is called Snagit, which I'm using to create this video too. It's like a big big program called Camtasia, but it's actually a lot easier to use. Yeah, really fast and quick, easy, and you can create these videos and upload them straight into YouTube if you needed to, but it also has a service which hosts them as well. Camtasia is a really complicated program to use, whereas Snagit is a lot simpler, a lot easier. Daily email. So this is with your worker. One of the key factors I always use is I must get an email from you every day. Even if that email says I wasn't able to work for you today because of a power outage, and I only just got to this now. You want that key factor of getting that communication every day. That way you know what they've done, you know where they've done it, and you work with Google Docs. They all use Google Documents, so you can upload files that they can work from there. You can get them to load files in they've created. If you get them to do research or whatever, you get them to load the files into there. The other communication is via Skype. They all use that, and that's a key factor of communicating backwards and forwards. Questions. Now, a key factor with the culture with the Philippines is they don't like asking questions. They actually consider it an insult to their employer if they have to ask, because they think that it's a wrong thing to ask. They don't like asking questions. So those first communications need to be clear that they can ask questions about anything at all at any time, and that you want them to ask questions all the time, and you have to reiterate it quite a few times. They will refer to you generally as sir or ma'am. That's just part of the culture side, but they don't like asking, so you have to make it a safe environment for them to ask questions. And so the final point is that this is a great way to leverage your business. This is a great way to get tasks done in Amazon. And these persons, once you have them on board, are very, very loyal. They are fantastic workers. At the same time, the English has been taught not as a first language. So some cases, like I said before, customer support may not be exactly what you want them to do. But for researching and other skills, if they get someone who can build your WordPress sites and manage the type of thing, they'll grow with you. And just expect that you have to teach them, and you teach them more and more, and you have them long term, and they'll become massive value to your company. As you grow, they'll be able to help you grow as well. One specific thing is, if you get a great person, use them to ask who else you would like to work for them. In one case, I had one lady working for me. She was quite young, and I actually then brought in her sister who came on, who worked for me, and I got the first person to teach the second person what work they were doing. So that worked really, really well. So look, I think it's a fantastic way to grow your business and make sure you are growing a business and getting other people to work for you. It's probably this video is probably going to create a lot more questions that you might have. It's only designed to be an intro, and maybe Todd and Chris could do something later on when we ask questions if it's something I'm happy to help out with. So it's Paul Easton, and I hope this has been helpful for you. Catch you later and go for it with the Amazon business, your e-com business. Bye for now.